Imagine running 100 miles on broken feet, every muscle in your body screaming for mercy, your lungs burning and your mind begging you to stop, yet you keep going. Sounds impossible, right? But that's exactly what David Goggins did. His story isn't just about physical endurance, it's about the unshakable truth that most of the limits we believe in are illusions. Pain, fear, and doubt aren't walls that block us, they're mental barriers we've built ourselves. And Goggins' life is proof that those walls can be smashed to pieces. In his brutally honest book Can't Hurt Me, Goggins lays out the blueprint for mental toughness and personal transformation. He doesn't sugarcoat it, doesn't hand you fluffy motivational quotes, and doesn't pretend change is easy. Instead, he shows us, through his own struggles, that we are capable of far more than we ever imagined. He went from being an overweight, insecure young man, stuck in a dead-end job, to becoming a Navy SEAL, an ultra-endurance athlete, and one of the toughest motivational figures in the world. His message is simple but profound. Discipline, resilience, and raw mental strength can completely reshape your life. This book isn't just a motivational pep talk, it's a battle plan for conquering your mind and reclaiming your potential. One of the most powerful lessons begins with what Goggins calls the accountability mirror. As a teenager, he was overweight, unmotivated, and drowning in excuses. He admitted he was lying to himself every single day. But one night, he looked in the mirror and decided to face the hard truth. No more sugarcoating. No more pretending. He called himself out for being lazy, for eating junk, for avoiding hard work. And from that day forward, he used the mirror as his tool for radical honesty. He even filled it with sticky notes, each one carrying a brutally clear goal: lose a certain amount of weight, study harder, train more. Those little notes became constant reminders that progress doesn't come from fantasy. It comes from facing who you are right now and deciding who you want to become. His lesson? Before you can change your life, you must first confront the truth about yourself. Transformation begins with honesty. From there, Goggins takes us into the concept of callusing the mind. Think about how your hands develop calluses when you lift heavy weights or do hard physical labor. At first, the skin is tender, and every bit of pressure hurts, but over time, repeated stress builds resilience. Goggins applied the same principle to his mind. He intentionally sought out discomfort, running in the cold, pushing his body through grueling workouts, enduring Navy SEAL Hell Week, and countless challenges designed to break him. Each time he refused to quit, he built a tougher mental callus. To most people, pain is the signal to stop. To Goggins, pain was the signal to keep going. He reframed suffering as the gateway to growth. Every time you push past the point where your body and mind scream at you to stop, you're building mental armor. And that armor is what prepares you to handle life's real battles, the kind that hit when you least expect them. But Goggins doesn't just rely on toughness, he introduces what might be his most famous concept, the 40% rule. According to him, when you feel completely done, when you're exhausted and ready to quit, you've only tapped into about 40% of your true capacity. That means you still have 60% left in the tank. Let that sink in. Most people go through life never touching that hidden reservoir of strength. We quit when it gets hard. We stop when it gets uncomfortable. But Goggins insists that the moment you feel you can't go further is actually the exact moment you must keep pushing, because that's where the real growth begins. Imagine what your life would look like if you pushed just a little further every time you felt like giving up. Another critical weapon in Goggins' arsenal is mastering your inner dialogue. As a child, he faced relentless bullying, abuse, and feelings of worthlessness. Those voices of doubt echoed in his head for years, telling him he wasn't good enough. But instead of letting those voices dictate his future, he built a strategy to fight back. He calls it the cookie jar method. The idea is simple but powerful. Every time you face a new challenge, you reach into your mental cookie jar and pull out a memory of a past victory. Maybe it's a time you finished a tough project, overcame an obstacle, or proved someone wrong. By reminding yourself of what you've already survived, you create fuel for what's ahead. It's proof that you're stronger than the doubts in your head. Each cookie becomes a reminder that you've done hard things before, and you can do them again. At the heart of Can't Hurt Me is a philosophy of radical responsibility. Goggins says flat out, no one is coming to save you, not your parents, not your boss, not your friends. If you want change, you have to own it. It's easy to blame circumstances, to point fingers at the past, or to make excuses about why life is unfair. But the reality is, excuses don't change anything. Goggins didn't grow up privileged. He faced poverty, racism, abuse, and constant failure. But he refused to let those things define him. Instead, he used them as fuel to push harder. His message is harsh but freeing. You are the only one responsible for your life. Transformation isn't easy. It requires sacrifice, suffering, and relentless discipline. But the reward is freedom. The freedom of knowing you've taken control of your destiny. What makes Goggins' story so compelling is that he speaks entirely from experience. He didn't just talk about mental toughness, he lived it. From completing Navy SEAL training, one of the most brutal military programs on Earth, to running ultra-marathons on broken legs, to breaking through his own childhood trauma, his entire life is living proof that the human spirit is far stronger than most people realize. And that's why his message resonates so deeply. It challenges us to stop settling for mediocrity, to stop living at 40%, and to start demanding more of ourselves. Because the truth is, our best life exists on the other side of discomfort. So, what's the takeaway from Can't Hurt Me? It's this: you are capable of far more than you believe. The limits you feel are real only because you've accepted them. They're not walls, they're fences you built yourself, and just like any fence, they can be torn down. You can rewrite your story. You can push beyond fear, beyond pain, beyond doubt, and discover a version of yourself that's been waiting inside all along. But it starts with honesty, it grows with discipline, and it becomes unstoppable with, the courage to step into discomfort again and again until it no longer controls you. David Goggins' story teaches us that the mind is the ultimate weapon. It's not your muscles, your genetics, or your circumstance that determine your success. It's your mindset. And when you master your mind, when you stop listening to excuses and start building mental calluses, you become truly unstoppable. The next time you feel like quitting, remind yourself, you're only at 40%. Push further, go beyond. Don't let your mind talk you out of your potential. So here's the challenge for you. What's your accountability mirror moment? What's the truth you've been avoiding? Look yourself in the eye today and make a decision. Decide to stop hiding behind excuses. Decide to step into discomfort. Decide to push past your 40%, because your story is still being written and the pen is in your hands. If this summary lit a fire inside you, don't just sit with it. Act on it. Smash that like button, share this video with someone who needs a push, and subscribe to Proven Mindset for more powerful book summaries and motivational lessons. Just imagine what reading the full book will do. Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins isn't just a story, it's a battle cry for the mind. It pushes you past your limits, destroys excuses, and shows you what true mental toughness looks like. So don't just get inspired, get disciplined. Don't just watch, take action. The real transformation begins when you step into Goggins' world and live his lessons. Click the link in the description and grab your copy of Can't Hurt Me today. This book will challenge you, break you, and rebuild you stronger than ever. Because once you realize that most limits exist only in your mind, nothing can hurt you anymore.